let's talk about this subject. What's up, Fin fans? Being that there is no training camp anymore, or one that I can report on, I thought of this video. Actually, my girlfriend thought of this video because she asked me a question. She asked me a question that all you guys asked me, essentially, why doesn't anyone take the Dolphins seriously? Or why are we so disrespected when it comes to the media? So I thought I would answer this question and fully break it down, because I explained it to her and she was like, that makes a ton of sense, so why not make a video about it? So we're gonna start at the beginning and I'm gonna break it down for you. So I haven't done this in a while, but let's get started. So a lot of you guys want to know, like, the ESPN, NFL Network, a lot of the beat writers, a lot of people, if that makes any sense, do not respect the Miami Dolphins. They do not respect this team. We went 10-6. People were still like, well, can they do it again? Then we went, 11-5, won the division. A lot of people were like, well, can they do it again? So a lot of people don't respect the Dolphins. And the main reason why a lot of people don't respect the Miami Dolphins is because they have sucked for a while. Now, if you look at the way the NFL works, I'm going to see if I can do a graphic here. You have the top part of the NFL, which is the elites. These are teams that are always in the playoffs. They are, without a doubt, always winning the division. They are always in contention for Super Bowl, and they are always in the talks of being the greatest, dynasties. Then you have this middle section here that essentially they're in the playoffs. They'll make a wild card. They'll be in there 1 year, miss 2 years, then be in there. They're always up and down, up and down. Kind of think of the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens had a hot couple years, and then all of a sudden they cooled down. They make the playoffs, and all of a sudden they came back, won a Super Bowl, and they, see what I'm saying? So that's the middle of the pack, and then you have the bottom of the pack, which are just teams that suck constantly. Your Cleveland Browns, for the longest time it was your Saints. For the longest time it was your Arizona Cardinals. There was just this bottom section that just suck all the time. Lately, where the Dolphins have been, has been in between middle and the suck, bouncing back and forth since about 2003, 2004. Because in 2000, they made the playoffs. And then since 2000, they made the playoffs twice. In 2008 and then in 2016. So that's about 18 years, 17 years of making the playoffs 3 times. So I'm going to break it down for you and give you a reason why the Dolphins have been so unappreciated, and so no one cares. No one cares about the Dolphins. Look at this. So I'll give you some stats. In 1966, Dolphins came into the NFL. Initially, it was first the Miami Seahawks, but then that was only for about a year, and then nothing happened. So 1966, the Dolphins came into the league, and then they went 15-39-2. They sucked under George Wilson, their first coach. Gone. So you got the 70s. You got the decade of the 70s. The Dolphins were one of those top teams in the 70s. They were ruling the 70s. Them and I think the Steelers and the Vikings were ruling the 70s, and the Cowboys. They were the first team to ever go to 3 straight Super Bowls. 3 consecutive Super Bowls. First ever team. Had the AFC divisional game against the Chiefs. It's still the longest in history. They went to those 3 straight Super Bowls, won 2, lost 1 to the Cowboys. The next year, 72, they went they won. All right, so in 1970, they won 5 divisions and they went to the playoffs 7 times. So in 10 years, they went to the playoffs 7 times. 5 times as division champions, 2 times as wild cards. So with the 70s, people were taking the Miami Dolphins extremely seriously because always in the playoffs, won 3 Super Bowls in 10 years, went to 3 consecutive Super Bowls in 10 years, they were taking them seriously. Then you have the 80s. The 80s, the Dolphins went to 2 Super Bowls. They lost them both, one to the Redskins, one to the 49ers. But in the 80s, the Dolphins were still extremely important. They were still top of the contention. They won the division 5 times. 5 times. So again, went to the Super Bowl twice, made the playoffs 5 times as division champions. That's half of the time in the 80s the Dolphins were in the playoffs or in playoff contention. Drafted Dan Marino. Dan Marino set the single season record. So Dolphins were up there in the stories. Everyone was taking them seriously. Everyone was saying, Dolphins are great. This team is great. We need to take them seriously. Then you got the 90s, right? In the 90s, Shula sets the record for most wins as an NFL coach. Again, great story, top. Everyone loves the Dolphins. Dan Marino breaks career passing, touchdowns, completion yards. Again, great story, top of the thing. They won the division 2 times in the 90s, in 92 and 94. But again, the 90s was a different decade where the Buffalo Bills were kind of the elite of the AFC East or AFC Central in the 90s. So with the Dolphins winning the division twice, you would think, well, that's when their downfall started. No. In the 10 years in the 90s, the Dolphins made the playoffs 7 times. So regardless if they lost to the Bills to win the division, or they lost to the Patriots to win the division, or they lost to the Colts to win the division. Yeah, the Colts were in the AFC Central. For all you young fans that didn't know, it was North, South, and Central for AFC and NFC. The Dolphins made the playoffs wild card 5 times. 5 times. So 7 times out of 10 years, the Dolphins were in the playoffs, and people took them seriously. They also had Dan Marino. In the 70s, they had Bob Greasy. Both decades, they had Don Shula. So people were taking this Dolphins team seriously. They were the top echelon. For 3 decades, they took the Dolphins seriously. Then Dan Marino retires, but we still had a great defense. We drafted Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor. We had all the, 2000, we went to the playoffs again. Then the 2000s happened. And that's where we're getting to where we're at now, right? So 2000s happened, right? We get Jay Fiedler from the Jaguars, which I like Jay Fiedler. I think he's top 4 best quarterbacks we've ever had was Jay Fiedler. So in 2000, we went to the playoffs 4 times. We won the division in 2000 and 2008, and we made it in the wild card in 01 and 2016. So I know I broke it down to 10 years, but I'm doing the whole 2000s all in one just because we're still kind of in the thick of the 2010s. So in 18 years, we went to the playoffs 4 times. Whereas in the 90s and in the 70s and in the 80s, we went to the 90s went to the playoffs 7 times. 7 times. And then look at the 2000s. Look at the 2000s into the 2010s. We get Ricky Williams. Great pickup. Everyone's like, Dolphins are going to be great. He does great, but then he has the suspension and he retires. Then he's forced to come back, and that whole story. And we have Cam Cameron come in, and it went like this. It was it wasn't like up and downs. It was ups and then downs for a while, because we had Tony Sparano, and we won the division 11-5. We were doing great. Next year we kind of fell off, and then we really fell off, and then he was gone. We had Cam Cameron, went 1-15. We're the joke of the league. Then we had Joe Philbin. Never won anything with Joe Philbin. It was just constant downfalls from 2001 till now. Constant downfalls. Bullygate. Always the laughing joke of the team. Bullygate. Like, we need to get back to winning, and we need to get back to winning consistently if we want the ESPN, NFL Network, NFL.com, all these beat writers, Bleacher Report, all of them to take the Dolphins seriously, because since 2001, we've been inconsistent. The only thing we've been consistent at is being mediocre. I hope that gives you guys a good idea of why the media disrespects us so much, because I get aggravated. You can go watch that video where the guy's talking about the weapons that we have and how I think he's a big idiot because he doesn't back his facts up. But, there was a power ranking that came out. They had the Dolphins 32nd. When it comes to backup quarterbacks or quarterback situation, we're ranked first as the worst. So no one takes us seriously. We need to get back to the 80s, 90s, and 70s of the Dolphins where we were kicking ass. Always. We were always in it. Don't get me wrong, we're always in it. When it comes to November, December football, the Dolphins seem always to be in the hunt. But they always seem to fall out of it. So let me know below what you think. Let me know if you think I'm talking out of my ass and we are being judged the way we're judged because people just hate the Dolphins. Comment below, because you know what? I'm going to do comment of the day. And this comment comes from Daniel D. And this is on my video about the Dolphins-Panthers post review. And he says, first comment's me. That was a horrible game to me. Xavier Howard was the highlight for me. Now 2 games in, how do you feel about our team? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this team because you could chalk it up to Adam Gase doesn't want to show too much. Adam Gase doesn't want to call the exotic plays that would get us scores, and essentially we are just doing what we're doing. A lot of people say, well, Ryan Tannehill's only throwing 5-yard passes. Yeah, well, look who he's throwing the 5-yard passes to. He's throwing it to Jakeem Grant. That's because the corners are playing at least 5 yards off of Jakeem Grant because they're afraid he's going to burn him over top. So he runs up, does a curl route, boom. But he's been throwing 15-yard passes. How do I feel about this team? I don't know. It is preseason, and you try not to look too far into preseason because essentially with preseason, what they want to do is they want to see fundamentals. They want to see how the players play together. They want to see who they're going to cut, who they're going to keep. The starters are barely in there. Saturday, the starters will be in there for probably the whole half. So we'll really, how about this? After Saturday, I will let you know how I feel about this team because they have to face the Ravens, who is always we're their punching bag. So we'll find out Saturday how I really feel about this team. But again, they're not going to be calling the plays that they normally will during the regular season. So we will see. I'll give you a full report 4 weeks into the season. The first quarter report you'll get from me. But that's the video. Like I said before, comment below. Let me know what you think about my take on why the Dolphins aren't getting respected by the media. Give this video a thumbs up just because one more week and then we're into regular season and then football really matters. Side note, I still have 2 people in League 1 and I think 3 people in League 2 that still haven't signed up after I sent the emails out. In League 2, there's 2 guys with the same name. Change that, please. Don't have the same name. I'm giving the 5 people, 2 in the League 1 and 3 in League 2. You have until the 25th. You have until the Ravens game, after the Ravens game. If you do not get into the league by Saturday the 25th, you're out. And I'm going to pick 5 new people to be in the league, and then we're going to start this because I know for a fact these 5 people that I will pick will get in the league. So comment below and let me know. Say, hey, I want a chance if these guys don't get in. Say, I'm in. And I'm going to pick new names because I need people that when they comment, they will see the video and they will instantly join the league because I can't have this because we're 2 weeks away from the draft. Yeah, almost 2 weeks away from the draft, and I need you guys to be there. So I have these 5 guys, 2 in League 1, 3 in League 3. If they don't join by Saturday, you're out. And I need you guys to comment below saying, I'm in, I want to be in the drawing to try to get in these 2 leagues. 5 spots are up for grabs. Comment below, say I'm in. Go follow me on Twitter. Comment on Twitter. Say, hey, I want in there too. Twitter's right here. Also, don't forget to check my second channel, The Bit Boys. We play a ton of video games. We're playing Madden. I got a MUT draft coming out probably Friday or Saturday. My friend picked my team and it went, I don't know, we'll find out. But again, comment below, let me know if you want to be in for the chance to get in this league again. Because if you do comment below, I know you're serious about actually getting in, because it's 5 people. Again, 2 in League 1, 3 in League 2. You're going to get kicked if you don't sign up by the 25th, Saturday. Sign up. The draft is the 2nd. But other than that, appreciate you guys. Hope you guys appreciated this video. Hope you guys subscribed because you're a Dolphin fan and you saw how much of an effort I put into this video, and you see how much I know about the Dolphins, how much I love them. Other than that, I'll see you guys. I think I'm gonna make my my review on Friday, what we can expect for the Ravens Dolphins game. So I'll see you guys Friday, and like usual, fins up. And so that was a game, huh? The Dolphins ended up losing to the Panthers 27-20, and the game wasn't even that close for people to think that it was that close, 27-20, because I took some notes. I got a ton of notes here.